Do you have trouble letting yourself rest? Do you feel guilty when you take downtime or need time off? This is a very important topic. I'm going to be getting into some of where this comes from and a few things you can do to start to resolve this pattern a bit to give yourself some more inner peace. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My one-on-one coaching program is almost filled, so if you want to check it out, there's a little bit of time left. There's a link to a free exploration call in the comment section below. You can ask any questions. I'm happy to go over the program, kind of see where you're at, go through what's been coming up to see if we're a good fit. There's no obligation on the call whatsoever. We live in a very action-based world, and action is very important. However, sometimes, a lot of times, we have these long-standing programs in our body and associations with action and overaction and hyper self-development and being busy all the time that we don't know how to relax. We don't know how to rest. And because of this, the mind tends to burn out the body. We get stuck in these scarcity survival patterns where any time, tell me if you relate to this, you take any time off whatsoever, you immediately start obsessing about all the things that you really should be doing. Sometimes you have lists of things that you should be doing. Sometimes it's nothing. It's completely ambiguous. The mind is just like, but we're supposed to be doing something right now. What are we supposed to be doing? I don't even know a million things. And that precludes or prevents you from actually resting and taking downtime so that when you go back to action, you're refreshed. And so we just live in this constant cycle of like running, even when we supposedly stop. This is something that I've noticed within myself. I will take a couple days off, and I will need those days off. And I will do stuff that's important in terms of resting, spiritual kind of things. Like I will clear things in myself. I'll work on myself. I'll do things that are important for my growth. But then as soon as I get back to the week, my mind will immediately feel the anxiety of all the things that I need to do. And it will look back at the weekend and it will be like, what the fuck were we doing? We just wasted all of our time. It just runs right over everything and immediately goes to what it thinks it needs to be doing and invalidates my entire past experience. This is a very unhealthy pattern, and it's something you want to watch. So I'm going to give you a few things that you can do to kind of start to balance this out if you have this, because it's something that we all have. The first thing is this. It comes down to prioritizing downtime and your perception with it. So if you can understand that rest is actually an activity, if you can convince your mind that rest is an action, that rest and relaxation is an activity, that rest and downtime is part of the process of building stuff, and give yourself permission to do this. Understand the deep importance of doing this. It's going to be something you have to work with regularly, trust me, but you will begin to allow more space for the calm. There's a lot of us on spiritual paths, and we're trying to get out of one part of our life and get to another part of our life, and we're trying to build businesses or find what we want to do with our life. And a lot of us just wants to stop and just be present. But it gets tricky because our world doesn't really let you do that, because you have to make money. So you kind of have to draw a line in the sand with the reality we live in and just be like, no, I need to do this. Just let it happen. The second thing that you can do, and this is something that just came to me today that I need to do, make a list of all the actions that you've performed, not every action you've ever performed, but big ones. like I had this job, I went to school here, like the big things that you've spent a lot of time doing that you hated. One of the reasons for this is because we have associations with activity that are very negative. So our mind tends to jumble things together. It conflates a whole bunch of stuff. So if we don't sit down and kind of, iron things out and categorize them so that we can see them, we just deal with this conglomeration of confusion where one thing's linked to another thing that doesn't really go. This is topic's linked to this topic. It doesn't really go. But we don't see it because it's subconscious and it just runs. So any activity, whether it's something that you like to do or not, tends to get tainted with this like pressure, stress sort of perception. And a lot of this comes from the past of having to do so many things you didn't want to do. So we start to perceive any activity as a drain, and all the body wants to do is just stop. Now, you need to let the body just stop, but also if you can classify all the things you didn't like to do, so you know what you prefer to do, you can get a little more clarity, and every action isn't lumped together as the same thing. Just experiment with doing this, because it helps the mind to calm down and balance. And the third thing that you can do is you have to really watch what your mind does in terms of how it judges past, present, and future. The mind wants to do everything all at once, but it can't. We simply can't. We can only do really one thing at a time. So if you don't acknowledge what you do, the mind will immediately look at all the things you haven't done and just start whipping you. Like, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. I have so many things that I want to accomplish. Like I said, I'll take 3 days and do a bunch of stuff. And then on the 4th day, my mind will simply be like, we didn't do this, 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 and this. Like we did nothing. It writes it all off. So and that's because I'm not fully present in a way. And I don't go back into my recent past a little bit and credit myself with what I've done. And when I do that, when I'm like, well, wait, this I did on Saturday, this I did on Sunday, like you didn't even recognize any of this, I begin to validate my own experience, and the mind begins to feel like, okay, I did accomplish something, I did get something done, and it starts to calm down a bit. But you also have to kind of hammer home that point that you can't do it all right now. And a lot of times what happens is we'll get inklings of things we want to do in the future. We'll get inklings of energetic possibilities that are to be done, but they're not to be done today. So making priority lists is very important. And when you do this, here's something else you could do. I would highly advise starting to ask your intuition for task lists. Don't go into your mind for the task list. Don't go into the mind for how much you need to do today, because it will give you 8 billion things and it will ruin your body. Ask your intuition, ask your higher self, what should I do today? What should I do this week? And feel it, feel like the impulse. And like every morning I do this, I'll be like, what do I do today? And I'll write down a list that I get from my intuition, and it works pretty well. My mind still likes to go nuts. But it helps. Anyway, let me know what you think. I have a free book list in the description below if you'd like to download it. 15 books that really helped me heal a lot. It's a free list. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to next time. Bye-bye.